Shalom, Akim, shalom.
Shalom.
First off, we're going to say call hello.
Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Kakudash.
We want to say double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, of course. Much peace, love, and salutations to all of you out there pushing the word in sincerity and truth. This is GMS Dallas, once again, with a class session. And today what we're going to talk about specifically is the helmet of salvation. This is a topic that I love to go into. It's something that we spoke about on the highways and byways in our last speaking engagement, the sermon. But I wanted to highlight it here in a class session because, you know, brothers have been doing lessons on, you know, having a broad mindset, having a bigger mindset, allowing your imagination to grab hold of what we read about in the scriptures. And so I want to highlight some of these scriptures and just talk about the importance of visualizing and understanding the breadth of the reward. What are you here for? What are we fighting for? What is this promise? What is this rest? What is this hope of salvation? And really kind of just dig into a little bit of mindset about that today. Okay? Did anybody have any opening statements, comments, or scriptures?
I got one.
Okay.
This is Psalm 16. I'm just jump to the point. I'll actually read verse 9 and jump down to verse 11. It says, "Therefore my heart is glad, and my glory rejoiceth. My flesh also shall rest in hope." Jumping down to verse 11, it says, "Thou wilt show me the path of life. In thy presence is fullness of joy. At thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore."
At thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore. So the intention of being on the planet Earth was for us to enjoy. When Yahweh Shai was up in the heavens and he had the Holy Host with him, constructing the universe, constructing the earth, it was meant for us to come and dominate and have a good life, an immortal life. You know, it talks about that in, was it Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter, I want to say? You know, if somebody can find it. You know, because this is supposed to be a paradise. When you look up that word Eden, right? That word Eden goes back to joy, all right? And it's supposed to be a perpetual, renewing paradise. And your body in this state that we're in is supposed to rejuvenate continually with it. But because of sin, death was introduced into the world. And since that time of Adam's fall, we've lived in a decaying state of being. The hope of our salvation is the renewal of an immortal reality here on earth. That's what we're fighting for. The lives that we've lived here in Babylon, the Great, in America, has created such a minuscule perspective of what life is that sometimes when we read in the Bible, it just completely can go over our head what we really have our hands on.
Right.
Every time that we go out and have an opportunity to confess this word, we're getting closer to an investment that none of us really can fully grasp and understand. The only thing we can do is read what we see in the scriptures and hope to magnify it enough to keep fighting. The helmet of salvation is critical for you to protect your mind as you go through the battle. So I want to talk about protecting your mind by having increasing hope. Okay? So let's start with 1 Thessalonians 5 and let somebody have a point.
I got it. Did you want the Wisdom of Solomon? Or?
Wisdom of Solomon, yes.
All right. This is Wisdom of Solomon. I'm going to read chapter 1, verse 15, and then I'm going to jump down to chapter 2, verse 23. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 15. I started verse 14. It said, "For he created all things that they might have their being, and the generations of the world were healthful, and there is no poison of destruction in them."
Right, the generations of the world were healthful, meaning the seasons rejuvenate, plants, vegetation. Everything has the circle of life.
Yeah,
everything
right.
has that circle, right? And it's supposed to continually have a healthy revolution. Okay, go ahead.
It says, "And there is no poison of destruction in them." And it's like just laying back off what the elder's talking about. How now that wickedness is exceedingly polluted the whole earth. Poison is literally in everything that we see. Poison is in the things that we see. It's in the things that we smell. It's in the things that we eat. You know, it's in the things that we it's literally poison in all of our senses that we need salvation, bro. Like if Yahweh Shai never came back, we would, you know, there would be no flesh left to be saved, bro. You know? It says, "And there is no poison of destruction in them, nor the kingdom of death upon the earth. For righteousness is immortal. See? So righteousness and following after Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, that's ultimately what leads to immortality. That's what leads to us conquering death, just as Yahushua conquered death.
Yep. That's the tree of life. The tree of life is a way of immortal interaction with everything. A way of immortal interaction with every aspect of life. How to conduct it. The tree of life is the way of wisdom of how to do things perfectly with the way the Most High intended. All right?
Yep. Jumping to Wisdom Solomon 2, and I'll jump down to the point real quick. This is verse 23. It says, "For the Most High created man to be immortal, and made him to be made him to be in image of his own eternity."
But you're going to read the next verse?
Verse 24. "Nevertheless, through envy of the devil came death into the world, and they that do hold of his side do find it."
Right. And so he made and created us to be immortal. Right? To continue on perpetually. So our view of time, our view of everything is really cut short. The process of everything, like you wait 30 seconds and you feel like honking your horn at somebody. Your mindset, our mindsets of time is completely thrown off.
Right.
Esau has the world in a shortened, rushed state of being. That's why everybody is stressed and depressed. Because it is unnatural to try to rush all of your life into 20 years. You know, it's unnatural to get to 18, 19, 20 years old and say, "Oh, I got till I'm 50, let me, woo!" You know, so you don't think about legacy. You don't think about what happens after. You only think about this short span of time that you have on the earth. This is not life. This is not living. We need hope of salvation. Okay?
I had a
What you got?
This is going to Tree of Life. Sirach 19 and 19, it says, "The knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life, and they that do the things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality."
Boom. So the way of the Heavenly Father is the fruit of the tree of immortality. And so right now we're getting back through the Holy Spirit, we're getting back into that. And it's going to be accomplished upon Yahushua's return. Okay? What you got, champ?
I got 1 Thessalonians.
Go ahead, champ.
This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 5. "Ye are the children of light, and the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. Therefore let us not sleep, as do others, but let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep, sleep in the night."
I'm sorry, if I may real quick, can I get that word sober in the Greek real quick? Because that's a very key word going into what the elder's going into, being sober-minded in these times. That word sober in the Greek is Ephesians 5 and 6. Why is it not going up? It's like,
It's all good. I got it right here.
okay. Yeah, I don't know why it's showing the wrong. Oh, I'm sorry. Here we go. My bad. It just took a minute to load up. All right. So that word sober in the Greek here is nepho. All right, nepho. So you have to be calm and collected in spirit, to be temperate, to be dispassionate, to be circumspect.
I said knowing the story. We always talk about that. If you watching a previously recorded basketball game, when the team that won the game is down by 30, you ain't tripping because you know they won. You just want to see the highlights. You just want to, you know what I'm saying? You just want to get through the game to see what you missed. You see? So, yeah, when it comes to these prophecies, we see them all coming to pass and all these different things. You know, the Lord said this is going to happen. Now we see how it play out. You know what I'm saying? Just like the scriptures say, war, evil, and pestilence. We see that the pestilence is what's going on now. You know what I'm saying? 10 years ago, we didn't know what the pestilence was going to be. Now we hear it. You know? And it continue to boost us. Right? You got it.
Yeah, that was just the word, just being, it says that one thing it said was staying calm.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, with things going on in the world right now, it's easy to get distracted with the things that you see. But the thing is with Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, one thing that he said, hope is the substance, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things that you don't see.
Right.
You know, you walk by faith, but not necessarily by the things that you see. You know, so it's walking into the fire, praising Yahweh by Shemal Shai in a calm, collective spirit. You know, that's the having that helmet of salvation is going in, understanding without a doubt that Yahweh by Shemal Shai is with you. Because you know what he said he will do for you if you serve him. You know? Mm-hmm. That was it on that though.
Right. Verse 7, it says, "For they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. But let us, who are of the day, be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for the helmet, the hope of salvation. For the Most High hath appointed us to wrath, had not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation by our Lord Hamashiach Yahushua."
Right. And so as a helmet, we're going to put on the hope of salvation, right? And and that hope is that mindset towards what? Obtaining the promise. Obtaining the promise of going back and receiving the inheritance that was told to Abraham. All the children of Israel, when you read, we're going to be in that land and thrive and control and rule and dominate. Right? And so sometimes when we're in this life that we live, we can lose focus on what we're really here for. I'm not going to pull the scripture, but I love that scripture when Peter asked Yahushua, we gave up everything to follow thee. What shall we receive thereof? Right. And he said, all of those who follow me, you're going to receive 100-fold of wives, of lands, riches, and you're going to sit on thrones. Right. I want that, don't you?
That was what happened with Job.
Right. But can you even imagine it? Can you imagine more than what you have today? Can you imagine more of what you've experienced in this lifetime? Because we haven't experienced much. We really haven't. We never held lands and had servants on those lands. You've been most of your life at work. Yep. You really like, and when we said this on the highways and byways, tell me a time in your life when another man wasn't dictating to you what to do, when to wake up, where you can go, what you can buy, pay your taxes, dictating to you your life.
Coaches and shit.
You got to keep that helmet of salvation on so you can keep your mind and head in the game. Anybody got a precept?
Yes, I know.
Let's go, champ.
This is 2 Corinthians 4, and I'm going to start at verse 16. It says, "For which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day." Essentially, that going into being built up and continually built up in, this truth, man, in the spirit, because the flesh decays over time, but, our hope isn't in the flesh at the end of the day, man. Read on, verse 17, it says, "For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory."
Right. That's that immortal life. That's the immortal forms and dominance in the planet Earth. Okay? And we're developing that culture. When you read in the scriptures, low-level people didn't get the scripture. See, they started printing these Bibles and handing them out to everybody and confused everybody into thinking that everybody's supposed to be holding this. No. No. The kings and the scribes held the scrolls. It was meant for the elite. We are of that class, if you believe it or not, man. The Holy Spirit, when it's blown on you, you get put into a different class. All right? And so so the mindset has to be developed within it. There's a mindset of kingliness that comes along with the priesthood. All right? Right now, we're investing. We're investing into the future, an immortal future. So when you invest, you waiting. You like, whoa, man, I hope this hit. You don't go ball out when you're fully invested. You're waiting for it to mature. You're waiting for the investment to turn over. And we understand that's with the arrival of Yahushua. Right? So we're renewed day by day by what? You remembering why you made the investment. Right. You going over the investment that you made. Like you going to the stock market, right? You put down $15,000 on a particular stock. And you waiting on it, you're going to be like, man, woo! But as you go, what do? You researching into the company. You seeing like how they revenue is increased year by year. You going over, what type of products and services that they provide. You like, man, man, we got the hit. We do that here within the scriptures in the church, right? Going into the mindset and understanding of what Yahweh Hashem Yahushua wants and his intention on the planet Earth. You're investing in something. Okay? So you have the hope of hitting. That's that hope of salvation. You got to keep that helmet on. You don't want to develop worldly, earthly sorrow. Right. Where like losing something here is impacting you. You haven't lived. You haven't lived. You don't know. You haven't lived, man. Mm-hmm. This little compartment of life has just been slavery. You know, everything has been corrupted by death. The food, the air, water, the people, the plants, the animals. This ain't life.
You know, if I may add what that kind of makes me think about, like when after Noah, and Shem, Ham, and Japheth, landed back on land and everything, and like those generations, they got shorter and shorter and shorter. I'm sure that, that was being noticed. You know what I mean? That especially, up to Abraham, even though Noah was alive for a long time after I'll say Shem specifically was alive for a super long time after after they had their seeds, it's still being noticed that like there was like a downtrend, you know what I mean, to where I'm sure that appealed more to Abraham than maybe some other men that might have lived twice as long as him, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it just made me think about that.
Yeah, it's gotten weaker and weaker. Y'all better push up that, man. It's gotten weaker and weaker. So there has to be a transition, and I'm holding Sirach 10 and 7. It says, "Pride is hateful before the Most High and man, and by both doth one commit iniquity, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit. The kingdom is translated from one people to another." So it's our highest expectation upon the return of Yahushua to have this kingdom and rulership over this earth translated to us. What does that mean? That means your ability to live life is going to drastically change. I pulled up, just for the sake of just understanding, a list of minerals in the earth. You see this list, Elder Yatazak?
Mm-hmm.
That's just the A's.
Wow.
Does that feel? Do we have to scroll?
Man.
That's just the
A's.
A's.
Scrolling for a minute.
That's the B's. Now, for you brothers and sisters that are just listening, there's 4 columns, and we're just in the A's, and just to have fun, Abelsonite, Abenakite, Aburite, Abramovite. Abrammovite. That's the name. Right? Abshawarmbasite.
Yeah.
Adalite. I'm just going through. Arite. Aliite. Andronite.
All we know is amethyst.
Bro, that's it. Bro. Look at all of these. Look. The bees. Look at this. That Bephite, Bakerite, Baeltite, Bassanite, Biotite, Brassite, Borite, Borax. It's countless B's, C's, D's, F. Look, we haven't experienced. You're gonna own some of those mineral mines and wealth. You're gonna have slaves and people that you control and that you tell, we need to move this there, we need this for this industry there. Right? Have you ever been to a cold spring where the water comes out the bottom of the earth and the natural spring is cold? They have them over in Florida. I've been to those. You're going to have your own. There's natural hot springs everywhere in the world where healing waters.
Like that
right?
That pool at Bethsaida, what Bethsaida I want to say it was, where Yahushua went, where the people would actually go down there.
Yeah.
It was known.
But you take a shower.
Yeah.
Yeah, through some
You
fire.
take a shower.
Fluoride water.
Right.
You take a shower.
A rested shower head.
You're not gonna be taking no damn shower,
Hell
bro.
no.
Yeah.
Hell no.
You're not gonna be taking no shower.
Nope.
Water fountain.
You're gonna have time.
Yep, that's right.
You're gonna
You're
control
not
how water
gonna
is distributed.
rush.
Yep.
Oh, I gotta take a shower, man. I gotta go to work.
Exactly.
I put on this itchy ass soap.
Straight up.
No,
Real talk.
you're not gonna do that.
Right.
Do you know how many different trees there are in the world? No, you don't, because you never there, but you don't care. Why? You gotta go to work.
Christmas tree and that tree in the backyard.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
A list of lawful fish.
Okay.
Elder Yatazak, do you see this list of fish?
Yep.
Do I have to scroll?
Man.
Is that a lot of fish?
Yeah.
How many fish have you ate?
Oh, I'll say about 6.
Whiting, cod.
Yeah. You remember we went to the
Salmon.
cabin? We went to the cabin a couple years ago. Ariana's I had some fish we hadn't had. We
Yeah.
we
Red
smacking. I'm
snapper.
talking about we licking sauce off your wrist.
Bass.
That shit was good.
That's the 4th fish you done had.
Bro, you probably eaten maybe 10 to 15 fish.
Maybe.
Yeah. You ate more lawful fish than lawful fish growing up.
Hundreds of fish. You know what I mean? Plant stuff. You ate broccoli,
Yep.
squash. Maybe 30 or 40 plants you've tasted. Maybe 50.
That's particular
There's
plants.
thousands.
Yeah, depending on where you grow up, you don't get them
Thousands
vegetables
of
at all.
herbs.
Mhm.
You had cow,
Chicken.
buffalo, chicken, turkey. You know how many birds there are?
Man.
Man.
You haven't tasted nothing.
Right.
You haven't lived in this sorry, pitiful excuse of life. Keep your hope of salvation on and let it protect your mind to do what you need to do. Remember your investment. Remember what you get for putting off this. What are you losing with this, really?
Nothing. Not really.
I'm married, I got some kids.
Ew.
How many of you had a virgin? She thinking about another nigga while you smashing. Well, you take her to somewhere out to eat. She been there before with somebody else. Oh yeah, this is good up in here. Just tainted, ruined, through. Okay, kids go to school, they come back. My teacher said, what your teacher said? That's offensive. You see? What you got, Champ?
This Sirach 43 and 32, it says, there are yet hid greater things than these be, for we have seen but a few of his works.
We have seen but a few of his works, man. How to really use the power of the sun. You know? How to really, really understand that there's a perpetual energy ball right there. But they run around drilling for energy. The energy is there. You don't have to drill. You just lazy. Because you die in 50 years. So you need the energy now.
Yeah.
But when you don't die, you can figure out how to use energy the right way. And you ain't tripping. You got something?
Yeah, another one.
Mm-hmm.
It's Isaiah 65.
Oh yeah, we're going to get that. What verse you going to
I
go
was
to?
going to go straight to 17.
No, we're going to go up.
Okay.
We're going to go up. We're going to come back to that. What you got, Chin?
This is the book of St. John, chapter 14, I'm sorry, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
It says, let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in the Most High, believe also in me.
Yeah.
In my Father's house there are many mansions.
Many mansions.
If it were not so, I would have told you.
Yeah, man. Many places of domicile and you know, and I like to stay right here on earth. Everybody's like, well, I'm going to be over in Martin. No, I'm going to be on earth. Balling. We haven't seen the earth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to see it.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The earth got America. This little block. Bro, some nice stuff.
Yeah.
So imagine what's going on in other places and other things, okay? We haven't seen it. Okay? What you got?
That word mansions in the Greek is mone,
Mm-hmm.
which means, it says a staying, abiding, dwelling, abode, to make in one's abode. See, so at the end of the day, you know, like the elder was mentioning, you have earth. You know, you have many dwellings here that we haven't even really experienced, but even so, You know, you have different planets that we're going to have access to. We have different galaxies that we're going to have access to. We're going to have the ability to create our own galaxy, to create our own planet. You know, whatever is in your mind to want to make it according to your spirit, you can make it.
It's going to be a whole nother level of existence.
Yeah.
Whole nother level, man.
When you look at the Earth's population, I mean, when you look at the state of Texas, when you research it, the whole Earth's population can fit in this one state. That really shows you how vast this is and how much we haven't seen yet.
Man.
The whole planet Earth, which is 7+ billion people, can fit in this one state in the whole world. So it really just goes to show you how vast this creation of the planet Earth can really be and how crucial this possession is going to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I got some. Luke 12:32. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give to you the kingdom.
That's what I'm saying. Even if you wanted to be a complete loser, the Lord ain't gonna allow it. Like, think about that. Think about that. Even if you have the lowest expectation possible for the kingdom, you know what I'm saying? Because the kingdom of heaven get a bad rap. You know what I'm saying? You got people that don't want to go to the kingdom of heaven because they don't think it's gonna be fun. They think they can have more fun down here.
Right.
Like, nigga, your mind is so small. You know what I'm saying? And the scripture just, it opened ours up. You know what I'm saying? We completely open to total domination of the earth in righteousness.
But that's the difference between what they teach the kingdom of heaven is. We understand that the kingdom of heaven is going to be function on earth.
Right.
This terrestrial form is going to be glorified with the presence of the Heavenly Father, right? And we're going to be with it.
You can float around the kingdom if you want to, but it's going to be so much more to it than that. You know what I'm saying? If you want to float around in the sky, do you? But it's going to be way more. That's just one thing that you want to do. You know what I'm saying? People always say people's mind is so closed off. Like, no. We just going to float around heaven all day. Fine. But what we going to be doing, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Once your mind open up, I was saying, we talk about meditating terror and all these thoughts and all these things. Bro, you're going to be in a spiritual power, righteously charged vessel doing these things.
Right.
You know?
Yes, sir.
Never having a negative, wicked thought.
Yeah. Bro, sin is impossible. Think about that. Sin will be impossible.
Beautiful. That's like failure being impossible.
All the worries that you have are going to be eliminated.
Yeah.
Stupid worries. I gotta sign this paperwork. I gotta get my car registered. I gotta pay the electric bill. Stupid. You go to a restaurant, you looking at how much is that? Stupid.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But then, she said she was at work. Was she really at work? Stupid. Dang, I woke up late. My alarm didn't go off. Stupid. Stupid. None of that no more. Keep the helmet of salvation on. Protect your mind to get through this pilgrimage. Okay? I want to get 1 Kings chapter 10. Go down to verse 14. Because when we read King Solomon, it gives us just a little inkling and a speck in the corner of our eye of what we're going to have. Now, King Solomon, after King David dominated the heathen round about, they established the nation of Israel in the land and pretty much controlled, that region there in the Middle East, right? And so everything was flowing through that region. And so it enriched. We should.
So I want to pull the map out and make it pop.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
So it enriched, and you guys can Google this as you listen to this lesson. King Solomon's kingdom, and because he was in control and he had made marriages with different nations, and they had different trade deals. King Solomon, it was just filthy. It was, come on, man. Let's read about it.
You said verse 14, right?
Yeah.
This is 1 Kings chapter 10, verse 14. And it says, now the weight of gold that came to Solomon in 1 year was 666 talents of gold.
Stop. Read it again.
1 Kings 10 and 14. Now the weight of gold that came to Solomon in 1 year was 600 6 talents of gold.
Now, when did that weight of gold come?
In 1 year.
So every year, you want to talk about passive income?
Right.
That's passive income. How much gold?
Now the weight of gold that came to Solomon in 1 year was 6 talents of gold.
That's 1 year. That's not no dividend meme stock where you get 3% on a little $1,500 that you put down on Robinhood. No. That's passive income.
And that, if I may, that was just coming from the Queen of Sheba.
Yeah.
That was just coming from one vassal that was under him.
Yep. Now imagine everybody else, and you know I highlight this one because she came to learn. You know, when we go to Isaiah, the 60th chapter, it's basically going to highlight that relationship that we see just right here with the Queen of Sheba, how all the other nations are going to come, and they're going to be like, oh my goodness, teach us what you're doing. We want to thrive like y'all thriving. We want to ball out too. We will pay you. We will bring unto you what we need. Okay? You know?
603 scoring 6, which is 666 talents of gold, is about 25 tons of gold a year. So I was reading this thing here. It says, according to the Bible, 1 Kings chapter 4 to chapter 10, 1,086 talents, or about 34 tons of gold, were brought to Jerusalem from Ophir by Solomon's workers. This quantity worth about, now this is in today's dollars, so it was more value back then, so just keep that in mind. It says this quantity worth about 125 million at today's prices is thought to have constituted about half the known gold supply of the ancient world. Half, of that. Bro, that's only half. 125 million today is half compared to what Solomon was getting. And this is, bro, that was only one account. That was from one kingdom.
Yeah.
Bro.
Ball.
If I can quickly say in my sword here, my Bible, verse 14 at the end it says it was $3.83 billion.
$3.83 billion
A year.
Wow.
passive.
One vassal.
I was in a short span.
Come on.
But that's what Deuteronomy 28 and 1 through 14 looked like. In 40, that was 40 years. That was 40 years worth of Deuteronomy 28.
Come on.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, 40 years worth.
Now put yourself in there.
Right.
And stop being put yourself in there, man.
Yeah.
Get your head in the game, man. Don't you want some of that?
I'm telling you.
Shit. You want? Come on, man.
That's right, Shaquan.
Keep that on your mind. You know, I got a raise, man. They gave me 25 cents, bro. You know, they like me because, you know, my boss like me. Yeah, I can come in when I want to, you know. Shut your ass up.
Killing them at the potluck.
Come on, man. Let's keep reading in there in King Solomon. I mean, First Kings.
Okay. This is the book of 1 Kings, back in chapter 10, verse 15. Besides that, he had of merchantmen, and of the traffic of the spice merchants, and of all the kings of Arabia, and of the governors of the country.
He had all that. Keep going.
And King Solomon made 200 targets of beaten gold. 600 shekels of gold went to one target. And he had 200 targets.
Bro.
I'm gonna read that again. And King Solomon made 200 targets of beaten gold. 600 shekels of gold went to one target. 600 times 200. It's a lot of targets of gold. Verse 17. And he made 300 shields of beaten gold. 3 pounds of gold went to one shield.
3 pounds of gold went to one shield.
Damn.
Okay? Now, how much is an ounce of gold? Somebody look it up. There's 16 ounces in a pound. Right? Man, we got all these damn smartphones making them be smart.
How valuable is 1 ounce of gold?
1,000.
Here is information from Markets Insider, Business Insider.
What goes in different types of ounces?
Yeah, 1,700.
1,700.
Yeah.
So $1,700 for an ounce of gold.
1,750, yeah.
Yeah. So 17 times 16. 1750 times 16.
1750 times 16 is 28,000.
28,000. Now, how many pounds was the shield?
6 pounds.
3 pounds of gold went to one shield. Times that by 3.
84,000.
So one shield cost 84K.
And it was 300.
Times 300.
Times 300. He had 300 shields.
25,200,000.
Just shields.
And shields.
Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? These are my shields. You know what I mean? You know, I put a line on that one, you know. Dad. Oh, really? Oh, that's nice. You know?
Stunting, bro.
So, come on, man. Come on. Let's keep reading.
This is 1 Kings chapter 10, verse 18. Verse 17. And he made 300 shields of beaten gold. 3 pounds of gold went to one shield. And the king put them in the house of the forest of Lebanon.
Yeah, he's put it in that house over there. That's my summer home. You know, I slide through there every now and then. All right, go ahead.
Moreover, the king made a great throne of ivory and overlaid it with the best gold.
Man, he had a throne of ivory and overlaid it with the best
The
gold.
best gold.
Go ahead, champ.
Verse
A
19.
gold-plated ivory throne.
That's your
What you got? A IKEA?
That's
You
your
got that IKEA that rock left and right because the thing is broken on underneath it.
Man.
Ivory is expensive too.
You better keep that helmet of salvation on and remember what you're here for.
That's right.
Okay? Somebody had something? I thought somebody said something. Let's keep reading. If you don't
Come. Back in 1 Kings chapter 1, chapter 10, verse 19. The throne had 6 steps, and the top of the throne was round behind, and there were staves on either side on the place of the seat, and 2 lions stood beside the staves.
Goodness gracious. How many steps did the throne have?
6.
God damn. Sheesh. Let's go, champ. Keep reading.
I'd say 6 steps to get up in the chair.
Bro, that's what I was about to say. Come on, man.
That's a grand answer.
Verse 20. And 12 lions stood there on the one side, and on the other upon the 6 steps. There was not the like made in any kingdom.
Nobody had nothing like that. 12 lines on it, overlaid in gold. Go ahead, champ.
Verse 21. And all King Solomon's drinking vessels were of gold. All.
All of them. He didn't have no red solo.
Or no blue solo. Or no styrofoam.
Man, don't
None of that.
And all the vessels of the house of the forest of Lebanon were of pure gold. None were of silver. It was nothing accounted of in the days of
That's what I'm
Solomon.
saying. We riding to work with a sandwich wrapped in plastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Foil and shit.
They said silver was nothing accounted of. Basically, like it was almost pretty much worthless. Like it
In
wasn't
the
gold.
scriptures, it says like how you go outside right now and just see rocks on the ground. Like you just see some little rocks, not no amethyst. I'm just talking about a fucking rock. They said that silver in the time of Solomon was equivalent to just you seeing rocks on the ground.
Yep. Yep.
Like just
I got
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Keep reading.
Verse 22. For the king had at sea a navy of Tarshish with the navy of Hiram. Once in 3 years came the navy of Tarshish, bringing gold and silver, ivory, and apes and peacocks.
Bringing it. You last night at the camp, Ariella was mentioning having control over how did that get there. You know what I'm saying? Like these couches, this chair, all this stuff. How did it get here? We gonna be able to control how all this stuff got here.
Yeah.
The wood that was chopped, all that.
Yeah. You go to your faucet and you turn the faucet on. That's the result. But what about the origin? How did that water come out that faucet?
Right.
You gonna control that. You go to the store. There's oranges, plums, apples, you know, pancake mix. How did it get there?
God.
Who did it? That's the result.
Yeah.
You gonna control the whole process. You gonna be with Yahweh Shah the whole process.
Yep.
You know,
Okay.
those are my orchards. I got Jaffe working them. They report to me My numbers.
That's what Esau's doing right
You
now.
know?
Mm-hmm.
That's what Esau don't be at work.
Nah, he owned the factory.
He be chilling. I've been there with Esau. Happy hour. Not even happy hour. It's not happy hour. Because it's in the middle of the day. 1 o'clock. Chilling. I remember one time I was running a trail. It was like what, 11:30 in the morning. Nice trail. I happened to be off that day, so I sent him going for a run. And Esau had a Bluetooth in his ear. You know how Esau does that kind of jog, jog. But he's talking. He's like, and I'm listening to this nigga, you know. It's like, yeah, just have him sign that contract. Yeah, that's gonna be about 2.5 mil. And I know Monday we have another one that's to go ahead and settle that one also too. And I want you to move my Friday. Move that to 2 weeks from now. I'm gonna be out of town. I'm just listening, chilling, just cordially talking about millions of dollars worth of contracts like it's nothing. Now you don't have control over trillions and billions and trillions worth of merchandise in all facets of society. Every single thing that you get, when you read that in Deuteronomy, you got to go to this man for the want of all things. You got to go to this man for the want of all things. Well, that role is going to be translated. This is what comes along with the hope, promise, and everything like that.
Dropping stuff.
Yeah. Oh, you gonna have to go to, yeah.
On my screen there, Craig.
You know?
Yeah, you ain't gonna have to worry about no cracked screen on your phone. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, this is gonna be over with, man.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
So I like to read this scripture here in 1 Kings the 10th chapter to highlight a little bit of what we are fighting for. Okay, was there more on it you want to finish? You think there's a point to it? It's kind of the point.
That was the point, but just as a little fun little footnote.
Yeah.
When you go into the peacocks there, because when you look at different regions where the peacocks dwell, certain people will say that those peacocks that he got from India and such. But I remember studying this a while back. And when you go into that word peacock, it's very similar to the word toucan. In the Hebrew, in the Hebrew it's stakiyam, but if you look at it in Yiddish, it's tuki. But when you look at the toucans, those like come from like South America and such in Mexico, of this side of the hemisphere.
Yeah.
You find it ironic that word for peacock is very similar to the toucans, which come from on this side of the earth.
Yeah, and that's why it mentions once in 3 years. Because that's how long it took to go.
Yep.
They were coming all the way over here to the Americas, collecting, doing that, and that's why you get the Olmec heads and everything like that, and then they would travel back.
Gone.
Once in 3 years.
Gone.
Then drop off the goods.
Man.
And
One more quick little
and they wanted to do it.
Yeah.
They wanted to do it. You know what I'm saying? It was like Solomon didn't have to force nobody to do shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was just like, this is what I want. And people just made it happen.
Yeah.
You know?
I got another quick one real quick, because you brought up the points going into how it's going to be the elect's responsibility to, to have foresight over the merchants, everything pretty much. And it makes me go back to 1 Kings 4 when he was establishing his government. This is 1 Kings 4 and 7. And it says, and Solomon had 12 officers over all Israel. Now that was the governing body back then. He had the 12 generals, which Yahushua had 12 disciples. But even out of those men, it was elect men that he's talking about here. And they had a particular job that they was over. It says, and Solomon had 12 officers over all Israel, which provided victuals for the king and his household, each man his month, in the year made he provision. So it made me think about the kingdom that's to come, because this is just a prelude to what's getting ready to come, how those chief men, they had a sole responsibilities to provide those victuals unto the king. And each of those men, they had a sole responsibility to go to the areas that they was over, make sure that those tidings, I should say, was given, was pretty much operating in unison to give to the king.
Yeah.
And that's how it's going to be with Yahushua.
Yeah. So they had 1 month out of the year to be on point, and it gave them plenty of time to prepare to be on point. They didn't have to rush. You knew when you know. So that's dope. That's a dope scripture. I might do a lesson on that. Somebody else got something?
I got something to Josephus I want to read real quick. So this is the Antiquities of the Jews, Book 8, Chapter 7.
Antiquity of the Jews, Book 8, Chapter 7, for those who are taking notes.
And then Part 3.
Part 3.
So it says, I'm going to read it kind of quickly. It says, accordingly, there went a great fame all around the neighboring countries, which proclaimed the virtue and wisdom of Solomon, insomuch that all the kings everywhere were desirous to see him, as not giving credit to what was reported, on account of its being almost incredible. They also demonstrated the regard they had for him by the presents they made for him. For they sent him vessels of gold and silver, and purple garments, and many sorts of spices, and horses, and chariots, and as many mules of his carriages as they could find proper to please the king's eyes by their strength and beauty. This addition then he made to those chariots and horses which he had before from those that were sent him, augmented the number of his chariots by above 400, for he had 1,000 before, and augmented the number of his horses by 2,000, for he had 20,000 before. These horses also, I found this interesting. These horses also were so much exercised in order to their making a fine appearance and running swiftly, that no others could, upon the comparison, appear either finer or swifter. For they were at once the most beautiful of all others, and their swiftness was incomparable also.
Right. So, basically he had a fleet of the dopest vehicles in the earth.
Right.
All right. Now, when you start studying Ferraris and Lambos, you know they only make a certain amount.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
It's like, bro, you don't have to do a commercial on something. And people fighting over who gonna get it. Right. So what's the symbol of the Ferrari?
A horse.
What is it? It's a horse, right?
Yeah.
Right. So he had
And a Lamborghini.
So and Lambo's a horse as well, right?
That's a bull.
That's a bull, yeah.
Is it a bull?
Yeah.
Same. Yeah. It's right there in the same likeness. Right. So imagine your fleet. His fleet. The dopest of dope. Okay.
Just like Floyd Mayweather got all them Rolls Royces and what's the name?
Yeah, that shit. His shit whack.
You gotta have insurance and oil change and shit.
Right.
Think about, man, we're gonna have chariots, bro.
It goes in.
Go to the suburbs. Everybody got what? Yukons,
A Honda Accord,
Lexus.
Suburbans, Escalades.
Yep.
You gonna have a chariot.
You gonna have some chariots.
Chariot. You ain't gonna have to go. You ain't gonna do none of that shit.
You know what I'm saying? Isaiah 4 says it's gonna be a chariot over every dominion. Over every dwelling, there's gonna be a chariot just there.
You walk up.
And that's for the Lord to, you know what I'm saying?
Shalom, Yatazar. Would you like to travel today?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Spiritual Siri.
Yeah.
Translating you now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, go ahead.
It says their riders also were a further ornament to them, being in the first place young men in the most delightful flower of their age, and being eminent for their largeness and far taller than any other men. They had also very long heads of hair hanging down, and were clothed in garments of Tyrian purple. They had also dust of gold every day sprinkled on their hair,
I remember that. Yep.
so that their heads sparkled with the reflection of the sunbeams from the gold.
Damn.
Bro, they was
Gold
every
dust.
single day they had gold dust being sprinkled on their heads, man, so that the
Real gold
sun
dust.
will reflect.
Man,
it
you know
would
you put that
reflect on their hair.
you put that Dax in your hair. You know, with the wave cap. You putting that that wave grease in your head, man. Head itching like a motherfucker. They put gold dust in their head
every
man.
day.
So when you walk around, bro,
Shine.
You know how good that is for your mind and just for your head, just in general for you, bro. It said so that their heads sparkled with the reflection of the sunbeams from the gold. So you shining when you walking
think
out.
that you clean, bro. Do you know how clean that is?
Those are two cents, man.
He's probably going to the king.
You talk about some Yeezys, bro. You walking around with gold dust in your beard and your hair, bro. Just you want to talk about flexing on somebody?
That was just the servants.
Like, is that glitter? No, baby,
It's gold. Yeah, right.
And the glitters ain't gold.
Yeah. Everything that glitter ain't gold. Lying.
Bro, that was his,
Everything that glitters is gold, baby.
that was his, bro. That was his riders of the horse. That was his servants.
Yeah.
That wasn't even him.
Clean.
His servants was
Clean.
golden and decked out, man.
Right.
I'm gonna finish this up real
Can I
quick.
get a precept to kind of land back on
Yeah,
that?
go ahead.
Well, I got to start at verse 41. This is Matthew 13 and 41. It says, the Son of Man shall send forth his angel, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend them which do iniquity, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall a wailing and gnashing of teeth. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun, as in the kingdom of their Father. Who has ears to hear, let them hear. And that's like the prelude of what's going to happen after that destruction when the bringing forth of the kingdom of heaven is brought forth.
That's right. And if I may, it just goes to show you how much we should really desire this wisdom. Because even in Proverbs, it likens wisdom to be more far exceeding than rubies and gold or any precious stone. So if we desire that and yearn for that right now, by default, if it's the Lord's will, this is going to apply to us. And we don't even have the full, thorough understanding yet of what's going to happen in that day. This is all just a glimpse. What we're reading about Solomon and such is still a mirror that's still foggy as heck, and you can barely see the other side of it, man.
We've been
This
in
is
the
just
department
enough
too
for us.
long, man. We've been in this cycle of bull too long, cycle of debt too long. And it's so bad that our people don't even feel like they deserve these things.
Yeah.
That's why we have to lean on Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. We have to lean on them to even just to push forward. Keep the helmet of salvation on. Protect your mind. Don't let this world bring you down to feeling like you just gotta survive. You just gotta survive and do the best you can. No, we are meant to thrive. Get out of that survival mode and get into thriving. You're making an investment. You're making an investment towards something that's amazing. You're not losing anything. You're not losing nothing. This has all been polluted, tainted. We were going to get Michael, but we don't need to pull it. Rise ye up and depart, for this is not your rest. It's polluted.
Just like the earth was given into the hand of the wicked, it's going to be given into the hand of the righteous. And in the Apocrypha, it tells you that the earth was made for our sakes. Right. It was made for us. You see,
now?
We're going to be given the same earth. Esau done jacked up.
Right.
It's going to be the same earth.
Right.
But the scriptures say that the earth is going to abide forever. Who you think we focusing on forever. Yeah, we focusing on forever. Ain't going to be no apartments in forever.
Yeah. And if there is, I'm not going to be up in it.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen, look. What we've experienced here in this life, don't let it taint your mind. Right. Don't listen to nobody that says you need to just enjoy it all now. Enjoy what?
Right.
Enjoy the 10 fish and the 20 plants and the 5 meats
and the one woman.
The used up woman and the one, you got a hide.
And the crack phone.
The crack phone. The fake gold.
GMO smoothie.
All right, and the Chinese made Yeezys. Listen, there's so much more. Mm-hmm. There's so much more. Okay? Now, where we at? Matthew 16?
Yeah, somebody get that.
Matthew 16.
Somebody hold Deuteronomy 28.
Matthew 16, go to verse 19. What was you holding, Knox?
Deuteronomy 28.
Beautiful. Let's get Matthew 16. We pulled this out yesterday. We're going to read it again.
It's the book of Matthew chapter 16, verse 19. And I will give unto thee...
Start at 18.
This is Matthew chapter 16, verse 18. It says, and I say unto thee, thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it.
Mm-hmm.
It says, and I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven.
He gave Peter the keys of the kingdom of heaven. That's access. That's power.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. When you have the keys to your apartment, right? You whatever you control who come in and out.
Mm-hmm.
You control what goes on, right? keys to your car, the keys to whatever. The keys to the kingdom of heaven were given to Peter and his homies. Now, go ahead.
Let me get that word keys.
Mhm.
Okay, that word keys in the Greek is pronounced police. Right? Police. And that word keys here means, scroll down a little bit. It says it says the power of David, who was a type of the Messiah, the second David, which you got to pick the bones out, whatever, of receiving into the Messiah's kingdom and of excluding from it. A key. Since the keeper of the keys has the power to open and to shut. Metaphorically in the New Testament to denote power and authority of various kinds. But it says, but the key point, right? Like what said what? It said the power of David.
Right. Now, somebody get
That's David.
Right. Somebody get Jeremiah 31, somebody get Hebrews 8. Get those covenants, and then we're gonna get Deuteronomy 28:1.
Before that, real quick, read that Isaiah 60.
You want to start somewhere specific?
Start at the top.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 60 and verse 1. It says, "Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee.
Mm-hmm.
For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee."
Now you connect this with 1 Thessalonians 5th chapter that we read opening up.
Right.
Go ahead. We're the children of the light.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, of the day.
Verse 3. "And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and the kings to the brightness of thy rising."
Like the Queen of Sheba did. Go ahead.
Verse 4. "Lift up thine eyes round about, and see, all they gather themselves together, they come to thee. Thy son shall come from far, and thy daughter shall be nursed at thy side.
Mm-hmm.
Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee."
Go ahead.
Verse 6. "The multitude of camels shall cover thee, the dromedaries of Midian and Ephah. All they from Sheba shall come.
All day from Sheba. Look, it's even mentioned. Go ahead.
They shall bring gold and incense, and they shall show forth the praises of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
All the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee, the rams of Nebaioth."
Yeah, and real quick, that word forces, I wanted to just highlight it real quick. The forces of the Gentiles are going to come. The word chayal, strength, might, efficiency, wealth, army, ability, efficiency, wealth. These are the things that we're going to be getting, man. Human resources. Human resources leads to all the other resources. Because you can't have a utopia without slaves. See, when Esau had us in hardcore slavery, they were in utopia.
Mm-hmm.
They fucked up.
Yep.
They should have kept us in slavery. You cannot have utopia without someone to function the utopia for you.
Right.
And provide happiness. See, and they want to recreate that type of system digitally to where you're a digital slave. Mm-hmm. So they can sit back and just enjoy everything. That's why it says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in dire straits. Right? The Most High is going to translate this kingdom, and all the other nations are going to come to us to learn how to manage the resources of the earth. And because of that know-how and knowledge, we are going to benefit in a utopia type of setting. We're going to teach everybody how to make things immortal.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We're going to be put into an immortal form, which the brother is going to get. And because of that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that's going to be put into us, immortality is going to be issued forth, and the people are going to respect it.
That's right.
And when we talk about glory, the word glory has different functions. Mm-hmm. Glory has a function of knowledge, wisdom, understanding, raw power, and the chariots, celestial energy.
Absolutely.
Holy energy. Glory has holy energy, like the chariots, the sun, the moon, stars, celestial energy. raw power, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. These are the things that we're going to inherit, the glory of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, to dominate the earth. You're going to have raw power, full knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and access to celestial energy and power, meaning a chariot.
Yep.
Ain't that cool? The power to even blot out the sun. Our celestial energy is going to be more powerful than even the sun. Man, bro, it's better than being in this apartment.
I'm trying to tell you, it's better than having Karakma too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was saying that Karakma ain't finna make you ball out. You're not finna ball out with that.
Yeah.
All right, let's get the last couple precepts.
Isaiah 60:7. All the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee. The rams of Nebaioth shall minister unto thee. They shall come up with acceptance on mine altar, and I will glorify the house of my glory.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Who are these that fly as a cloud,
Uh-oh.
and as the doves to their windows? Surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of the Lord thy power, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. Verse 10.
See how the chariots was locked within that glory? Did you see that? Go ahead.
Verse 10. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee.
Who gonna build the wall? You? Hell no. It's not tall enough. More gold. Move that line over there. We need that window open. The sunlight's gonna do this and create that. You, shut up. Yeah.
Your mouth was over too long.
Hey, that's what Trump was doing when he was building the wall. Did he actually go out and build the wall and say, all right, let me go ahead and get the hammer? And now he employed other people to do that job.
Good point. Isaiah 60:10. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee.
They're gonna serve. The chiefest of the people of the other nations are gonna serve. Go ahead.
For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee.
Go ahead.
Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought.
You know what markets never close? The Forex markets.
You said which markets?
Forex.
Forex.
Foreign exchange.
Okay.
Currency. Money.
Interesting.
Never closes.
Currency flows.
Always. That's the word current. It's always flowing.
Wow, okay. Makes sense.
All money is the representation of the flowing of goods and services from one place to another. Goods and services are always current in a current flow. You're going to be in control of it. Ooh, that was spiritual. Right? So that light just came on. You're going to be there, brother. With Yahweh Shai and the rest of the men and everybody with the currency of the earth, the wealth of the earth. When you read in Revelation, the 18th chapter, we're not going to get it, but it talks about the downfall of Babylon the Great. But one of the things that I noticed is how powerful Babylon the Great was.
Right.
When you read how the merchants of the earth wailed because of her burning, and you read about everything that Babylon the Great controlled, that is going to be translated to the nation of Israel. Okay?
Verse 12. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together, to beautify the place of my sanctuary, and I will make the place of my feet glorious. The sons also of them that afflict thee shall come bending unto thee, and all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of the Lord, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel.
Bro, When you don't feel good, go read Isaiah the 60th chapter and put on your helmet of salvation.
Yeah.
And remember why you're here. And remember what you're giving up and what you're going to receive thereafter. This is an investment. This is an investment. Can somebody look up the definition of investment? And we can stop there and go to the next scriptures. Call them.
Jeremiah.
Yeah, I got something.
All right, go ahead. Then get Jeremiah and then Hebrews 8.
Oh,
No. Go ahead and bring your priest up back.
It's Baruch chapter 4, verse 23. For I sent you out with mourning and weeping, but Yahweh will give you to me again the joy and gladness forever. Like as now the neighbors of Zion have seen your captivity, so shall they see shortly your salvation from our power, which shall come upon you with great glory and brightness of the everlasting.
See, that's what I'm saying. And these are the precepts that we hold on to. Hold fast that which is good. That's what I'm saying. Everything else that we've been told is a lie. Right? All these precepts have come together to give us that hope. Right? That helmet of salvation that they're going into. You know? All right, let's go.
I got the definition of investment too.
Get it, champ.
Investment says the action or process of investing money for for a profit or material result. Also, a thing that is worth buying because it may be profitable or useful in the future.
And that's us storing up our treasures.
Buy the truth and sell it not.
Yeah,
Right?
And he's storing up our treasures in heaven.
Yep.
You see, all of our works, we're gonna get paid that penny.
Absolutely.
We're gonna get paid that penny, which is the kingdom of heaven.
Bro, buy the truth and sell it not.
Right?
Bro, you see a dip in the market, you buy it, it goes up a little bit, you sell it, then it keep going up. You be like, dang, I should have. What they call it? Hodl.
Yeah.
Hold. Steadfast.
Yeah.
Hold steadfast.
What else you gonna hold on to?
Hold.
You can't hold on steadfast to nothing in Babylon.
In investing, they say you want something that's gonna go up in what direction? To the right.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not, you want something that's going up and to the right. What we have is going up and to the right.
Exponentially. Yeah.
Off the charts.
Yep. It's still at 0.0001 cents, and it's gonna go up to $1 million.
Yeah.
Straight bullish.
I mean, that's what if I may ask what Yahweh Shai mentioned with the mustard seed. He said if you have faith of a mustard seed, it's going to sprout into this large tree that's very vast and great, which is the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah.
Don't worry about
just
no shots. Don't worry about no job. Don't worry about no relationships. Don't worry about none of that.
That's right.
It's all temporary anyway.
And the value of it doesn't compare.
That's right.
It don't compare. You're not missing out on nothing. You can't, even if you had billions of dollars in this life here, you can't really do nothing with it. Okay?
That's right.
Well, in the kingdom, bruh.
Unlimited.
it's like we read that
We read
definition
about it.
yesterday.
Huh?
We read that definition of the word power yesterday, and how just it went into so like that definition of power and revelation. It went into so many things. It went into like having control over the resources, power to bring plagues, power to people, judicial decisions, domestic relations, power over marriage, and power over your woman.
Yeah.
It literally said it. In the definition.
As a husband has authority over his wife. That's what it said. You see how it's stuck in my mind.
I got a quick one. This is 1 Timothy 1:7. For the Most High has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, and of love, and of a sound mind. He said, don't worry about these things. It says power first, then it says having a sound mind. And that's keeping the mindset of knowing the investment that you're making, and knowing the return that you're about to get if you keep on putting that penny in there.
That's right.
You mentioned about the mind. They proved that this is an ultimate mental game.
Absolutely.
Because it starts here. It said cast down the imaginations. Where the imagination come from? The mind.
Yep, everything is in the mind. Okay? Let's go, champ. Jeremiah
And then,
31.
Hebrews 8, and then we're going to finish up with Deuteronomy 28. Go ahead.
This is Hebrews 8 and 10. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel.
Right, the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. Go ahead.
After those days, saith the Lord, I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts.
I will
This is
put
the
the
tree of
laws.
life.
Yeah, I will put the laws in their inward parts. Right? No, sin will be impossible at that point. Sin will be impossible at that point. Read it again.
I will put my laws into their mind and will write them in their hearts.
Right? Go ahead. Talk about our mind. Right? Go ahead.
And I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people.
Now keep in mind, this is after our bodies done changed. We in those perfect bodies. We got the perfect mind. All these things, right? Now go back to Deuteronomy 28 and 1. Finish that. And then somebody hold Deuteronomy 28 and 1. And when we get to Deuteronomy 28 and 1, it's not going to be if you hearken to this day, because we already going to be in the body to hearken. Let's just read it on through, right? Finish that up.
And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for all shall know me.
That's what I'm saying. We're going to all be perfect. We're going to be his people, and he going to be our power. Right? Let's get Deuteronomy. Let's start at the top.
It's the book of Deuteronomy,
You're going to read down to 14.
chapter 28.
Just read it straight on through. We're not going to interrupt. Just meditate on what the brothers read. That's for the people that's listening too.
Deuteronomy 28 and 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come on thee, and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power. Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. Blessed shall be thou, blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shalt thou be when thou goest out. The Lord shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. They shall come out against thee one way, and flee before thee 7 ways. The Lord shall command the blessing upon thee in thy storehouses, and in all that thou settest thine hand unto. And he shall bless thee in the land which the Lord thy power giveth thee. The Lord shall establish thee an holy people unto himself, as he has sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy power, and walk in his ways. And all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of thee. And the Lord shall make thee plenteous in goods, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy ground, in the land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers to give thee. The Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heaven to give the rain unto thy land in his season, and to bless all the work of thine hand. And thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. and the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail. And thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath. If thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy power, which I command thee this day to observe and to do them.
Hey man, put that helmet of salvation on. Understand what you're fighting for. We talk about the destruction, we talk about the pestilence, we talk about the calamities, we talk about all of these things and the tumults of the people and the wrath that the Most High is going to bring. But is that why you're here? That's not why you're here. What is your hope? What is your true hope? What is at the forefront of your mind to put you in the place to cast off this world? You're not casting off the world to see destruction. You're casting off this world for a better life, for immortal life, for righteousness set to come. You have to put away the pettiness of a small part of justice. True justice is when things are corrected. And that's not going to happen until we are put in the place to where in our minds and our hearts we follow Yahweh Shem Shai. Right? the downfall of this world is a small piece of the reality that we're fighting for. Put on the helmet of salvation. Protect your mind. Allow that knowledge to give you fuel. Collective hope or collective faith is fuel. It's fuel, it's energy. When you have more faith, you take more risk. We're going into risky times. When you hope, you'll bet it all on black. Bet it all on 144.
That's right.
You know what I mean? With that, man, call halal.
Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Rakakodash.
Double honors once again to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and salutations to you. I am out there pushing the word sincerely and truth. We appreciate you riding, whoever made it to the end of this broadcast. Hey, go and tell somebody else. Shalom.
Shalom.